2013. We have a couple administrative functions to do before we begin. Since we did not meet in January, we need to do reorganization this evening. Are there any nominations for chair?
I nominate Charlie Falcone to be
Second.
the chair.
I'll second.
Any other nominations? All right, seeing none, we'll close the nominations. We'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nominations for vice chair? I nominate Jim Dolan. Second?
He's not here, you can't nominate.
I can't nominate him because he's not here? Sure he can.
I second.
Second. Any other nominations? No. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Right. So that's with that. Now, one other thing is I nominate John Ryan to be solicitor for the zoning hearing board.
I do second.
Any other nominations? Seeing none are closed, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations.
Don't you wish Congress worked this easily?
Also, one other thing, appeal, anyone that's here for appeal 2888, it has been pulled, so we have no jurisdiction, so if you're here, you can go home. There's been a settlement between the township and the individual property owners. So you can all go home if you're here. Okay. Next appeal is Appeal 2889. The applicant, 134 Partners LP, property located at 134 North Wayne Avenue and zone in the Wayne Business Overlay District. The applicant intends to establish an ice cream and donut bar on the lower level of the building. Proposed use is permitted in the zoning district. Applicant requests relief from the installation of 16 seats for the establishment. Applicant seeks the following zoning relief: a modification of the condition of appeal 2859, limiting the lower level to retail use, a special exception pursuant to 280-101A or B, and the proposal is a legal nonconformity. 3, a variance or a de minimis variance from section 280-53.12 B and A of the code relating to off-street parking and or. Number 4, that the use is permitted as of right. It's your turn. You haven't been here in so long, I almost forgot you.
I know. Good evening. And I'm not used to seeing no one behind me. That's a good
I didn't know it
feeling.
was you. It didn't have your normal folder.
That's a good feeling. Oh, actually, Mr. Palmer actually went and filed it with the township, so that's why I didn't see my normal folder there. This is, you may recall this before, and I have it as an exhibit. It's the old suburban building, and you may recall there was relief granted previously because they renovated the suburban building, and they granted relief so there'd be retail use on the lower level, on the first level, then office use on the second level and the third level. We're talking about the lower level here. So if you look at the code, the restaurant is considered a retail use, but you may recall when we met last time, there was talk that if we ever put seats in the building, we'd have to come back to you again. So that's why really we're back here again. Norma? Sorry.
If you both raise your right hand, I'll swear you in. You do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I swear.
And state your names one at a time, please.
I'm Brad Palmer. Brad Learman.
And spell your last name.
Liermann.
Mr. Cornelia, isn't this essentially a parking variance case?
Well, or is permitted as a part of the existing nonconformity.
But you've reduced, you implemented the approval which reduced your parking down from 57 to 44, I believe it was.
Right, and this would require 8 spaces, so in reality, we're still less than the 57.
But
we
that
had
to the,
previously.
I think it seems to me that that would have been abandoned, and in fact, that was one of the proffered points in the prior application's favor, is that we were curing the nonconformity or reducing the nonconformity.
And the nonconformity is still reduced.
Yeah, but I don't think we can spring it back without some sort of variance relief. Is how
Or
I
a
would
modification of the conditions of the prior relief.
Well, isn't there metered parking on this street?
Yeah, there's a meter
I mean,
parking.
if I know where I live,
Yeah.
I Well, then isn't this under 53.12A?
I know that's what the board's granted.
To say.
Yeah,
It-
that's where the
there's-
board
Are there any
granted that
off-street parking
previously.
here? No? Yes?
Well, there's 4 spaces in the front, but,
Yeah, but they don't have to be adjacent to the property. You have, that street has
oh, yeah, it's,
all the metered
Yeah,
parking
meter-
plus the lot.
right.
And that satisfies your parking requirement.
Right, that's how
We've
this
held
board's-
that in
Yeah,
many
we've
other
done that.
cases.
Yeah, that
We
was
did
the thing that we
Cilantro,
did for a couple months ago.
and we
That
just
was an
did it
issue.
on the one I had, the red
Right.
mango, the one where the old mustard seed went.
Yep.
And we're not having that. We're 16 seats, which is really minimal here.
Well, you have some parking on the
There's,
property.
if you know, I think you're all familiar with the suburban building. There's 4 parking spaces right in front of the building there that's not metered.
Oh, but-
They're in the
okay.
street.
They're in the
street.
Oh, they're not on the property?
They're on the property. They're in the right-of-way on the property, just like all the metered parking.
Yeah, no, I understand that,
Is
but
on the
it's-
property, but it's all in the right-of-way.
They used to be reserved for the use of suburban when there really was a suburban in Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that they were their spaces.
And remember, too, that it was really, and then when the Dairy Queen was there on the corner, the people who went to use the Dairy Queen always parked there, as well. Remember, this
This was at
Dairy,
night.
it's interesting that he wants to open an ice cream shop.
That
there
was Gary
because-
Papa's Dairy Queen.
That's right, it was Gary Papa's Dairy Queen, yeah. Right. So, yeah, I would argue, that's why I argue, too, that it is permitted, because I know in the past the board has granted it in similar circumstances.
Mr. Chairman, if there's a plan that is part of the packet, if they could put that up, because I believe that the parking spaces are partially on the property and partially within the right-of-way.
That's correct, I believe.
But given that it's in the Wayne Business Overlay District, and given that it's on a street that has metered parking, it wouldn't make any difference if they had no on-site parking. Because the on-street parking is favored under the section I cited. You're actually, the commissioner has apparently decided that they don't want a lot of off-street parking in that district. They want it to be more like an urban environment, park on the street in the metered spaces, and
I
use
think
the
it-
properties for the property's purposes.
I'm having trouble finding the ordinance provision, Mr. Cutler. Can you just point it to me
Yeah,
again?
it's 280, 53.12.
12A.
Sub A.
Okay. 50.
5312A.
It says on-street parking, where on-street
Yeah.
metered parking currently exists, parking shall remain
Remain
on-street
on-street to the maximum extent
possible. So actually, that's what's
Yeah,
favored by the
we
commission.
went over this not long ago, a couple months
Yeah, a
ago, with
number
the
of
same
cases.
issue.
We've gone over this on
It
a
was the
number
Red
of cases.
Mango case, which is, I have it attached to.
And we did it with Cilantro, too, and they wanted to
Yep.
add the outdoor seating.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the one where we had in certain circumstances, a kind of anomalous result. If the property provides no parking at all, and off-street, then you have to, you can do the on-street parking if it's metered. But if you provide so much as one space, you could arguably be penalized for
Yeah,
being
but-
more in compliance, and that's the conundrum we've seen before.
Yeah, but this one is, it says, it specifically says where off-street parking is provided. This really isn't off-street parking. Portion of the property they may own in the right-of-way, it's really on-street. It's really not off-street.
Well, even if it were off-street, it would be non-conforming, because under the Wayne Business Overlay, you can't have it there, but it's been there for
Yep.
decades and generations. So I don't think there's any issue. I mean, I'm just as soon, unless you have something you want to tell us, I just as soon move this to, as far as I'm concerned, unless there's other discussion, I think they're entitled to,
See,
this
we,
is a matter of right on the parking issue, if that's the only issue.
yeah, I see we do agree on some things.
I can't believe that.
Way to start the
I
new
won't make a
year.
comment.
2013.
One of the most
When
important,
he walked in,
one of the most important lessons for a lawyer to learn is when to shut up and let
That's
the
why I'm
judge
shutting
keep
up.
talking.
I'm not
If he's
shutting
going your
up.
way, baby, forget all about your arguments.
Is there something else?
No,
I mean,
I would
does
just-
anyone have a problem here with,
I don't.
I don't either.
agree. I concur.
We have to see if anybody in the audience has.
That's next. Is there anyone in the audience that has any input here? If you're here for the previous one, it's been settled, 28.
I was here about the ice cream donut shop.
This is it. Yes. Do you,
I'm just coming here to speak out of favor. I'm not-
okay, you come up and talk.
There's a man who likes
You're on.
donuts.
If you showed up in this cold weather, you should talk.
Coffee, donuts, and ice cream.
Swear,
Yes, please.
Sir, if you raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will
Yes.
And then state your name for me, please,
Peter Stahl,
and spelled.
Stahl.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm about a 12-year resident here in Radnor, and got 5 kids, and we like to support the local merchants in the town, and so we got a pretty good idea what's down there and what's not, and we just think an ice cream shop with a donut shop is a great addition. So we're just, would really like to see it happen and get the seating and the parking and everything that would make it happen. So that's about the extent of it.
Mr. Chairman, could we add a condition that they serve peppermint stick ice cream?
We'll do what we can.
Never can find it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Stahl.
And shall I just ask the record, or the exhibits made part of the record, please?
Fine. No other information? Vote, anyone? Noah? We don't even have to vote on this, I don't think.
No, I mean, if the ruling is, and I'm moving that we rule that, as far as we're concerned, they're entitled to the parking relief as a matter of right. They don't need relief under
We'll have
5.
to issue a decision. I mean, this has
53.12.
come before us, so there does need to be a vote on that being
Okay.
if you want me.
He just moved. He moved that we.
Well, I guess we will interpret Section 2805312.12, sub A, as favoring the use of metered on-street parking where it exists as a way of providing parking for the use of the property. And since they have they're on a street with metered parking, that a lack of parking or the number of spaces available is not an issue for this particular use in this part of this building.
The other thing is just simply to approve it. That can be done too.
Do we have to deal with number 2, Noah, the 280-101A and B, because it is a legal non-conforming? You had mentioned that also.
No, what Noah's saying
John
is.
was saying he thought that we abandoned it, but
Okay, all right.
I'm not going to.
I think when they passed the Wayne Business Overlay District,
That changed everything.
They kind of, took that away as an issue
Okay.
where there's metered parking.
Okay.
To be
So
honest,
the nonconformities are relevant
there
on
have
that
been
issue.
troubles with this section before. I would just simply have a one-sentence order approving the application, because, candidly, I could see the township wanting to look at that again.
Well, then that puts them under a variance. That really,
Proves that there's no opposition. We simply need to give an order. We don't have to say it's a variance.
but
or
they've
anything
asked for a
else.
variance. So if we give them the relief, aren't we giving them
I've
the
asked for
variance?
I've asked for.
He asked for
Yeah.
everything in the kitchen sink. He always does.
Well, is that acceptable to you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, then however you want to draft
Okay.
it to that
fine,
import.
drafted. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done.
Thank you.
Great.
No other business. Meeting adjourned.
Is that the fastest?